Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And just the other day I was talking about Kinobody and his deadlift and risk of injury on his bench press, but now someone linked me something that I saw on his Instagram that leads me to believe he is also going to predispose himself to risk on the deadlift. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. All right, guys, I'm going to keep this somewhat serious, but at the same time, I'm going to have to joke a little bit, and I'm going to try not to be a dick, but I can't help it because it's just kind of a flaw in my personality. It just comes out sometimes, despite my efforts to do otherwise. And here's ultimately, we'll get into the details in a minute, but here's ultimately the biggest problem that Kinobody has, is you guys have all met this type of kid. Entitled spoiled kid. Entitled spoiled rich kids who live off mom and dad's money. In his case, he lives off mom's money. Lives in his mom's house. Lives in mom's big mansion. Still lives with his mom well into his 20s. Using her money to kind of get his online business endeavors go to advertise. I mean, I've even seen his ads run in my videos. Again, to advertise and market without him really having substance. He's all style with no substance. And mom kind of just puts up with it. He lives with mom and everything. And it's almost like I almost want to say to his mom, just for his own best interest, pop your titty out the boy's mouth and let him be a man. And for those who didn't hear me, I'll say it again, to quote Major Payne. Pop your titty out the boy's mouth and let him be a man. Would do him some good. Would do him some good. Because you guys know this type of guy. Got money he needs to actually hire people to teach him how to train. Doesn't really bother to train. He trains like a bro. He trains kind of lazy because he's never had to work for anything. We know these kids. They all use a little bit of gear. Come in and use half-assed training methods, don't learn how to do anything safely. But unfortunately, he's got the money to market himself and put himself out there to have showy things so that he's going to get attention. The problem is that it brings attention to a lot of really bad training. As I've said before, I've done a whole video breaking down the bench press of how not to bench press. I've done multiple videos on this before I even knew who he was. And then there he is breaking 3 or 4 different rules that I say will get you hurt. They'll cause shoulder impingements. They could get your face damaged. He busts his face with a 300-pound barbell, which is actually a very real possibility the way he benches. This pretty boy behavior and career might be over. And again, he can probably afford good plastic surgery, so it might not matter. But it's better to not smash your face. Let's be honest here. It really is. Overhead press, people say, oh, he's so strong. He does partials on the overhead press. He stops at his chin. You're supposed to touch your chest and pause and then press up. All right, overhead press is, even standing press is not coming down to your chin and coming right back up. All right, and people say, well, it is very safe to touch your chest. You have to learn how to perform the exercise correctly. All right, I'm going to repeat that again. It is safe if you learn to perform the exercise correctly. But that's just it. He trains like one of these gym douchebags. He really does. Probably pins a little bit of trim to make up for his bad training. Starves himself with his intermittent fasting protocols. And gets lean and gains a bit of muscle in spite of it. In spite of the nutrition not being perfect. Because again, that's kind of what drugs do. And again, the training has problems. He's never bothered to learn how to train. And here's the thing. And my problem with that is that this is someone trying to teach others and sell programs who doesn't know how to train safely. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if he was just in the gym doing this. But the fact of the matter is he is selling his expertise when he doesn't know how to perform a bench press. Now we get over to the deadlift. He's going to start deadlifting. And as I've already said, someone who's been training for years, a 405 deadlift is totally unacceptable. That's barely double his body weight. All right? The same thing here. People who stand there and tell me, oh, your strength standards are unreasonable. The same sort of people who tell me stuff like, oh, vegan diets and ketogenic diets are fine for lifting. Yeah, exactly, guys. There's a reason you guys think that a 500-pound deadlift is something difficult to reach. that it takes good genetics to deadlift 500 pounds. or years and years and years of training to deadlift 500 pounds. Maybe because, again, the standards are because people eat like crap. They eat horrific diets. Maybe they do too much intermittent fasting and train fasted. Well, no shit, your deadlift's not 500 pounds. Try eating a proper balanced diet and getting adequate nutrition through the day. You'd be surprised what you could do on good programming, even with crap genetics. Like, I mean, no offense, guys, but a 500-pound deadlift is not exactly a great feat of strength. Not for a gifted athlete, it's not. So the point is, he started deadlifting, and then what do we see him do? He links a video with a bunch of different curls on his Instagram, doing all sorts of partial curls, missing the bottom, skipping like the bottom third of the range of motion of the exercise. What is it that coach after coach after coach will tell you is one of the biggest secrets to not tearing a bicep on the deadlift? Do not do partials for exercises that involve the biceps. In other words, all your curls, you need to come all the way down. You lock the elbow. On your chin-ups, you come all the way down. Now, here's the thing. I know that he's supposedly strong on weighted chin-ups. I haven't seen the videos. I should probably go check that out. Probably be a good idea. Does he go all the way down on his chin-ups? Because if he's stopping his curls 30 degrees short of locking out and all these different curls trying to get a pump, and he's not coming all the way down on his chin-ups, he's going to tear a bicep. This is a guy who's going to predispose himself to a torn bicep deadlifting. And again, why? Because he doesn't know any better. Just like it turned out he didn't know how to perform a bench press correctly. He had no clue how to perform a bench press without getting hurt. Well, he's going to start deadlifting and doesn't understand that training your biceps to not extend or get used to being stretched under load, in addition to not pulling the slack out of the bar. Did he pull the slack out of the bar on his deadlifts? Did anyone bother to look? I'll leave that up to you guys. Go watch his deadlift video. You guys decide for yourselves, did he adequately pull the slack out of the bar? I'm not going to say. You guys tell me down below in the comments. But he's already making definitely a big mistake. Partial rep bicep training is a big no-no for people who deadlift. That might be fine for bodybuilders who shoot synthol in their arms. That might be fine for guys who use 2 grams of gear with growth hormone who do sight shots in their biceps. All those partials are fine because they're going to get big biceps no matter what, right? It doesn't grow big enough from the training and the drugs. 3 cc's, 3 cc's, just like Boston Lloyd, right? That's all they have to do. But if you actually want to be an athlete and you care about injuries, because again, people are like, oh, he trains like an athlete. I train like an athlete. He doesn't train like an athlete, guys. I do power cleans 2 or 3 times a week. I do GPP work. I do cardio every day. And I know you guys don't believe that because I'm not ripped, because I eat a ton of food. But I train like an athlete. And that includes thinking about my joint angle specificities and how they're performed in different activities, and thinking about those things in terms of what's going to help me not get injured when I lift heavy weights. Because you want to know what makes you real unathletic? Surgeries to reconnect tendons. While you're recovering from those surgeries, you're not very athletic. So you want to be a non-athlete, start tearing stuff. You want to be unathletic, start tearing stuff. But here's the thing. This is a guy pretending to be a professional, selling his expertise, who doesn't even know that this is how you tear biceps. Right? He's going to learn to deadlift now. He doesn't understand what the rest of his workout does to muscle balance, performance, and injuries in regard to the deadlift. All right? He doesn't know that. It's like he doesn't know how to perform the bench press correctly. This is a problem. Because again, this is someone who's going to show other people who is doing stuff that's going to get him hurt, and his audience is going to imitate it. Because it's monkey see, monkey do. Now let's be honest here. The sort of people who are going to buy into Kenobi's programs are probably not the upper echelons in terms of intellectual capacity. I'll just leave it there. All right, these are people who are not going to critically think about this stuff. Now, some people say, well, why do you care about them then? Because I don't want to see people who are just going to follow someone doing stupid stuff get hurt just because they're young and immature and don't know better, or they haven't developed critical thinking skills yet. I don't personally think that people should be punished and suffer lifelong injuries or require surgeries because they're too young to have developed proper critical thinking skills, or because they're not really intelligent. I don't think that people deserve that just because of that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel. And if I don't say something, you're going to have his fanboys and followers who get all glamored by his mom's mansion and the Lamborghini and the girls he pays to sit on the Lamborghini and stuff, are going to get so enamored by that they're just going to imitate what he does, because that's going to make him seem to be a hero to these young, impressionable guys. They're going to imitate what he does. They're going to tear pecs. They're going to tear biceps. They're going to get hurt. They're going to drop barbells on their faces. And if somebody doesn't say something, then I feel like I am being neglectful at that point, because I see dangerous stuff being taught, dangerous stuff being shown, and people following it. And me knowing better, it would be negligent of me not to say something. And I know a lot of people out there like, Jason, you're a terrible person. Well, that's a subjective thing. If I observe this stuff and I don't say something, I will feel like I'm a terrible person. And that's what matters at the end of the day. Can you live with yourself and look at yourself in the mirror? That's one of those things that I can't look at myself in the mirror. I can't let this ass clown, spoiled rich kid who doesn't know how to work hard, doesn't even know how to train correctly, I can't stand by and watch him teach people how to hurt themselves. All right, that would make me a bad person, in my opinion, when I have the ability to correct it. So that's what I'm doing. But in all seriousness, though, Kenobi's mom, you need to pop your titty out the boy's mouth and let him be a man. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.